Welcome to the Rooted Word, where we study the Bible with all seriousness. Today we begin a new mini-series on the conscience. This is a perfect follow-up to our last 3 videos about apologetics, where we debunked the idea of Christian apologetics and reestablished the correct reading of Paul in Athens in the book of Acts. So now we move on to the conscience and the different illnesses of the conscience that are mentioned in the New Testament. We begin today with Titus 1:15. I have a fresh translation for you for the Rooted Word Bible, Titus 1:15 and 16. So here's the translation for the Rooted Word Bible, Titus 1:15 and 16. Certainly, to the purged ones, all things are purged. But to the contaminated ones and unfaithful ones, nothing is purged. But both the mind and the joint seeing of them, that's the conscience, has been contaminated. Both the mind and the conscience, the joint seeing part, have been contaminated of them. They are laying forth agreement to see God, that they see God, but they themselves are uttering nothing in works, existing as disgusting and apathetic, and towards every good work without acceptance. This is brutal, but this is a great place to start. So we find that the Greek word means a joint seeing. Now, this verb to see also, in parallel to seeing, means to know. It's to know by seeing. It's like a perceiving knowledge. And so the conscience is putting together things in order to have this kind of knowledge of perception. That's what conscience is in the Greek. It's not a small voice in your head that's speaking to you like you're going crazy. So if we keep that in mind, then we see it's closely tied to the mind in the Greek, the word for mind. That's why they're put together in this passage. Let's review this passage again, and I'm going to explain as we go. Certainly to the purged ones, all things are purged. Now this word purge is a very specific one. We find it in 1 John 1 also, that it's the blood of Jesus that purges us of all sin. So to the purged ones, all things are purged. That doesn't mean that all things are innocent. All things are without guilt. It means that all things are purged, meaning that those things cannot contaminate us, cannot make us sin any longer. So they're purged of that power. Okay? If we are purged of that power of sin, then everything around us becomes purged of that power of sin. Why? Well, because if you go to Jacob chapter 1, that's the book of James, literally it's the book of Jacob in Greek, and in every language except English, it says what happens when temptation turns into sin. And it specifically says that it happens because of lust in you, and that you misplace your passion onto the object of lust. So you, being purged of that, no longer are giving into it, even through objects or other people. The power is broken. Let's keep going. So that's what it means. To the purged ones, all things are purged. They're purged of the power of sin over you. Doesn't mean they're without guilt or they're clean in and of themselves. It means that they have no power over you. But to the contaminated ones and unfaithful ones, nothing is purged. That goes right in hand with 1 John 1. If we walk in the light as he is in the light, 2 verses before, God is light and in him there's no darkness at all. if we are walking in the light with no darkness at all, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus Christ purges us of all sin. That power to sin is broken. So when you're unfaithful, then you're not walking in the light as he is in the light, are you? That's a simple fact. And so the blood of Jesus doesn't then purge you from the power of sin, because you've given yourself back over to it, to obey it. But both the mind, that's literally the mind, where your perceptions, your perspective are formed, and the conscience, the joint seeing, that's where you put together, from the mind, you put it together into a perspective of what's going on, a judgment. So conscience is more about judging by assembling together what you encounter, perceive, hear, talk about. You're putting this together into a perspective, a judgment, a worldview even. Both the mind and the joint seeing of them has been contaminated. That means your judgments are wrong. Most Christians today in America are in this boat. Their minds and their consciences have been contaminated, especially by false teachers, which we have a plethora of them in the local churches. We talk extensively about this problem on this channel. That's not the only thing we talk about, but we talk extensively about it, not exclusively about it. Verse 16, they are laying forth agreement to see God. That means that they are saying that they see God, they know God, but they themselves are uttering nothing in works. Their works do not show that. Jesus said, you will know them by their fruit. So whatever they produce will tell you, do they really know God or don't they know God? So they agree in word that they know God, they see God, but in their works, nothing is uttered by their actions. Existing as disgusting and apathetic. Now this word disgusting that's literally what it means. Abominable is the more religious word, but I'm avoiding that in the translation so that you have the feeling of what they felt when they heard the word. Disgusting. These people are existing as disgusting and apathetic, and towards every good work without acceptance. That harkens back to Cain and Abel when they brought their offerings to God, and Cain's was rejected. Why was it rejected? Because he was disgusting and apathetic. He said that he knew God and saw God, but in his works it didn't show. And that was ultimately revealed when he murdered his own brother to try to keep someone else from having their works being accepted when his weren't being accepted. Rather than change his ways, change his heart, he then killed the one who was acceptable. So we have to be careful with our consciences. Our conscience is a very important part of who we are and how we live our life, not only before God, but also among men. Your judgments that you make, just because you can make a judgment and it seems right to you, does not make it right. And I will tell you that most of you make incorrect judgments. Your consciences are wrong. You need to get them purged. 1 John 1 tells how. Walk in the light as God is in the light without any darkness at all, and the blood of Jesus will indeed purge you of all sins. Your conscience will be purged, and all things will be purged to you. They will not be able to contaminate you then. Don't forget to donate to the ministry in the link down below. I depend on your donations. May the Lord bless you as you seek Him with all your heart.